Nanjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashatai Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone for today's morning discussion from Sri ISOPANISHAD as a part of a BS Sadhaka program. Anyone knows where were we last time? So we started the 12th verse and the discussion happened about demigod worship. Last two paragraphs are remaining, I believe. All right. Let's read the text number 12. All right. Andham tama pravishanti ye asambhutim upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo yayu sambhutyam rataha. Get him a copy of Ishopanishad. It doesn't have it. Anyone who knows where the books are? Where is your copy? साथ में बैठो ना मोबाइल में क्या लगे हो तुम लोग? All right. Translation. Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest regions of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of the Absolute. Sambhutim, Asambhutim. Asambhutim means temporary, Sambhutim means permanent, but therein also there are three levels of realization. I have explained this before, so let's move forward to Prabhupada purport only. So, okay, let me ask this question to all of you, particularly our online audience. Asambhuti means temporary, that refers to worship of devatas. First question, this is for online audience. Why worship of devatas is said to be, why devatas have been referred to Asambhutim, which means temporary. And second, Andham Tamha Pravishanti, one who worship them enters into darkness. These are my two questions. Would anyone like to answer? And particularly online audience. What does it mean? Hare Krishna. Good morning, everyone. If all of you can switch on your camera in case you have that potential. So, then we can. All right, Mother Rashmi, let's begin with you. What's your answer?
Because worshipping demigod is about satisfying our senses, and which is temporary. So the devotee doesn't believe in satisfaction of senses. They are more
devotees do not believe. So
devotees, they are not just like, I mean. Yeah.
Good, you're the right direction, but there's no question of belief. Science is a science. Faith is a matter of belief. We believe in sacrifice of life. So we sacrifice our life for the pleasure of Shri Radha and Krishna. We are the greatest freedom fighters. All right. Take care. Good try, Mother Rashmi. Anyone else? among the newer audiences, what would you like to say? I repeat my questions again. Why Vashu Devatas is said to be temporary, and why it is said Andam Tama Pravishanti, you enter into the darkness. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. All right, Niranjan Sakha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. It is said to be temporary, but when we pray to demigods, it's basically for material needs, and it keeps us in this earth only, and doesn't let us go beyond this material world.
Okay. Andam Tama Pravishanti.
And when we remain in this material world, we are entangled into our own sense gratification, and we are not thinking about the Lord and His pastimes or something like that.
आप लोग के सबके आंसर बड़े कृष्णा कॉन्शियस आंसर्स हैं ना. I mean, I had a straightforward question here. Okay, let me just quickly. Okay, Mother Jyoti and Deshi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
See, the worship of demigods is temporary because they themselves are temporary.
Perfect. Because whoever is born in the material world, jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu. Dhruvam mritya jatasya chi. Janma, something like that. So whoever is born in this world would also die. So that's the first thing. That is temporary. So that was the answer to first question. Why the worshippers enter into the darkness?
That is because we keep, once the pious activities are over, we again come back to this world. And it's just like Prabhupada says, less like a Ferris wheel. We keep going up and down.
Okay, little lost. You're a little lost it here. The point is, even if you go to Brahma Loka, you're still in a world of darkness. There's no question of Ferris wheel here. I mean, okay, Ferris wheel is accepted, but the point is, liberation cannot happen. Liberation cannot occur. That's the point here. All right, clear? So this should be because we're gonna come across people who would challenge us, or not challenge us. We might need these subject matters, and it should not be. First of all, never say I believe, somebody believes. We are not a belief followers. When you say I believe this thing, this is all largely the subject matter of modern day religions, which largely functions on belief. If any one of you guys, Saurabh, कहाँ गया? नहीं है? Oh, okay. He was there with my attending my conversation yesterday with one who has converted to Christianity. So that individual was again and again saying, I believe, I believe, I believe. And when I said, all right, this is what Bhagavad Gita says. All right, can you prove me? When I would say, this is Bhagavad Gita says, he would immediately say, can you prove me? मैंने कहा, यार, wait a second. When I'm speaking, I'm presenting science, I'm giving you evidences. And if I make any statement, you say, can you prove it? When I ask you, you say, I believe this, I believe that. I said, this is wrong. this isn't wrong. And the person began to laugh. Bola, हाँ यार, तो सही बात है, मैं भी गलत कह रहा हूँ. I'm only speaking believe. I said, where is your science? Well, actually, I believe. What is this? So please, it's not about belief. I told this lady yesterday, so when I say I'm a student of science, I believe in science, I practice science, there is no question of belief. There's no question of belief. I don't believe in anything. I follow science. I follow logic. You talk to me, I can prove every single verse of Bhagavad Gita on the matter of science. You bring it subject matter of Christianity on that. So anyways, I get little agitated when the belief shall use it in front of me. Okay, fine. Okay, so that was the first part. And tato bhuya evate tamo yayu sambyutamrata. So next part of the question is, when you worship Sambhutim, you're put into a greater darkness. What does it mean? We have discussed it last time. So anyone would like to say? When you worship Sambhutim means Vadanti tattvavidat tattva jnanavadvayam brahmeti pramadmiti bhagavaniti shabdate. 3 levels of realization, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. When you worship Sambhutim, there's a particular kind of worship Sambhutim. If you do so, you're put into a greater darkness. What does it mean? Now this is open for everyone. This question is open for everyone. What would you like to say? I really loved my conversation yesterday. Maja aa raha tha. And I thought we should have more interreligious conversations to understand kya hai. Okay. And during the course of conversation, this individual had become a Protestant. And Protestant was sitting and criticizing the Catholic. Catholics are entirely wrong. मैंने कहा, you know what? If you would have met Catholics first, you would have become a Catholic and you would say, Protestants are all wrong. मैं तुम लोग का चलता क्या ये? You have any science behind it? Why you saying what you're saying? And mother is saying, बच्चे का brain washing हो गया. बच्चा से और बच्चे को समझ नहीं आ रहा का brain washing हो गया उसका. I believe. It's an interesting thing goes on in the world. Anyways, I was thinking we have a lot of homework to do. An educated engineer, you know. So long story short, I've told Sarah to find out. It's not a case of brainwashing. It's a case of love affair. कुछ ना कुछ love affair चला उस चक्कर में ये परिवर्तन हुआ है. You know. Now she wants to change her name, become this and that. Anyways, ठीक है. हम क्या बात कर रहे थे? बताओ. Second question. Yeah. Where is the mic?
More done.
Huh?
You asked question about more done.
Yeah. Answer क्या है? Okay, thank you for reminding for the question. Who is giving answer? Abhishek Prabhu is giving answer here. All right, go ahead. Oh, wait a second. Bolke.
Prabhuji, because they get entangled in the cycle of, because it's a temporary.
जीव जागो. मैं दूसरे क्वेश्चन पे आ गया हूँ. रानी, पहले क्वेश्चन का आंसर दे रहा था. पास करो. अभी कौन सा टेम्परेरी? संबोधन की बात हो रही है. संबोधन इज परमानेंट. क्या बात कर रहे हो?
In the Sambhutim, so there is a chance of losing our identity.
Okay.
So in that case, means actually, and moreover, like we envy the Supreme Lord.
So why do you worship Supreme Lord? Sambhuti means permanent.
So there would be there is a longer time to reach the spiritual world.
Okay. You're moving around like this. Okay, fine. Rather than going directly to the answer, who is like to give it a try? All right, Dhananjay?
Like Sambodhini means you are talking about like Brahma Jyoti.
Not I talking.
Okay, here it is written actually absolute.
Therefore, you were there for the last discussion?
Yes.
So last discussion बात करते हैं पूरी इसकी.
Prabhuji, actually,
see, Sambhuti means permanent, right? Now, when this verse says, now you think about it, you're put in greater darkness. So how can worship or astral put you in greater darkness? Which means what? Therefore, I said the three levels of realization: Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. And see, you can only answer this question at this point of time if you have studied Bhagavad Gita well. Now you understand what it is. And then Prabhupada quotes entirely Bhagavad Gita to explain that answer here. So now, what's your answer?
Prabhuji, like in the Asambhutini means there might be chances that we get kicks and we will come back. That after that process, but in Sambhutini, like here, like Abhishek Prabhu said that Prabhupada mentioned, as far as I understood, is absolute. Is like Brahma Jyoti, and if you someone merges into it, Prabhupada said it's like spiritual suicide.
That's the point. Sambhutim here, when it says Tatubhuya Ivate Tamo, you're put into greater darkness, which means loss of identity. That is what is called as spiritual suicide. And it's like it's not in this world. You're beyond this realm. It is not even temporary phase that you're there for a short while and come back. You're beyond this world. It's almost like a permanent situation. Therefore, it is far greater darkness. At least you're in this world, there is some hope. You may get some kick, as you said. So therefore, this is far greater dangerous. So all this religion, they name anyone now who talk about Shunyavad, who talk about moksha. What is moksha? Okay. Interesting. Bible says God created. Bible says God created. Bible is spoken by whom? Bible is spoken by Jesus. So I took out our Bhagavad Gita. I said, see, 14th chapter, verse number 2 and 3. Read 10th chapter, verse number 8. Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Aham means I. So I said, Bible is, Jesus is speaking. Why would he say God created? If Jesus is saying Bible, spoken by him, so why would Jesus say God created? If you say Jesus is God. So we go to God. I mean, it's a big, it takes, I said, who is God? Jesus is God. Why do you say go to God? Say go to Jesus now. उनको समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि हाँ जीसस के पास जाना है. अच्छा, हमें salvation, they taught the thing of salvation, we go to God. So that is darkness. That is what it refers when you lose your spiritual identity, you talk about Buddhism, you talk about Jainism, modern day religions, Abrahamic tradition, वो तो भगवान जाने कहाँ जाएंगे करके, and things like that, which destroy your spiritual identity. That is what is being discussed here. So if you see from this perspective now, all modern religions have their subset in Vedic paradigm. And all Shunyavadi, all merging everything is like that. So that's the point here. Let's read the last two paragraphs to conclude this verse. In the scripture, there is a recommendation for worshipping demigods under different circumstances. But at the same time, it is said that there is no real need for this. And the Bhagavad Gita is clearly stated the results of worshipping the demigods are not permanent. The whole material world is not permanent. Therefore, anything achieved here within the darkness of material existence is also impermanent. The problem then is how to obtain real and permanent life. All right. Would somebody like to read? Next paragraph onwards. Hare Krishna. चलो पढ़ो, आप लोग ही पढ़ो यहाँ से.
The Lord states that as soon as one reaches Him by devotional service, which is the one and only way to approach the personality of Godhead, one attains complete freedom from the bondage of birth and death. In other words, in the path of salvation from the material clutches fully depends on the principle of knowledge and detachment gained from serving the Lord. The pseudo-religionists have neither knowledge nor detachment from material affairs, for most of them want to live in the golden shackles of material bondage under the shadow of philanthropic activities disguised as religious principles. By a false display of religious sentiments, they present a show of devotional service while indulging in all sorts of immoral activities. In this way, immoral activities. In this way, they pass as spiritual masters and devotees of God.
Interesting, isn't it? Jesus is going to suffer for us. So we can do goddamn whatever we want. Who is going to suffer? Jesus. And he has already suffered. Why God has to suffer? If God has to suffer, the suffering is greater than God, na? I mean, it's a simple question. Why God has to suffer? And now, if Jesus is gonna, Krishna says, Sarvadharman Prityaja, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papi, Moksha Shami Vasucha. Krishna doesn't say, I'm gonna suffer because of you. Krishna says, I set you free. And you should take shelter of me, I destroy. Well, spiritual master cannot say though. Spiritual master would suffer. If a disciple does a mistake, then spiritual master gets a reaction. Spiritual master cannot say, I will destroy all your sinful reaction. Yes? Who can say that? God. And just again prove Jesus is the Son of God. How can God suffer like this? And second thing, Jesus is going to suffer for us. We can do God damn it anything. So where's the question of responsible living then? I don't know why and how people can buy such things. How people can get trapped into it. Okay. One reason, only one reason. We have been put through a lot of identity crisis. These Abrahamic religions have been promoted in a greater light, culture, etc., etc. If you go to church, you'll find them neat, clean, trim, perfect situation. Have you ever gone to church? Bilkul, I've been to many places. Bilkul, एकदम first class. वहां कोई पुजारी भाग नहीं रहा होगा आपके पीछे, चंदा दो, दक्षिणा दो, डोनेशन दो. और फिर वहां जाते ही सामने आपको बाइबल दिख जाएगी. वहां पे मोस्ट ऑफ द चर्चेस हैव मैरी और क्या कहते हैं, दिस इज जीसस ओवर देयर, एंड यू इमोशनली गेट कनेक्टेड इमीडिएटली बिकॉज व्हाट इज सेड, फॉर योर सेक जीसस सफर्ड. रियली दिस इज immediately emotional connect over there. Okay. You go to our temple, there are so many things happen, so many rituals happen, we have no connect to it. And उसमें से पुजारी किसी न किसी चीज को लेकर पकड़ ही लेता है, दक्षिणा दो, ये दो, वो दो करके. And look at largely our religious sites are so filthy. You go to Vrindavan, you go to any place, so dirty. हर प्रकार के जानवर घूम रहे होंगे, हर प्रकार की गंदगी होगी. If it has happened for a long period of time, eventually you will grow up thinking, यार क्या है ये? मतलब subconsciously everyone understands and acknowledges. At least before God consciousness can be there, there has to be certain amount of cleanliness. For example, remember the president of India had come to our temple. We had to clean the whole temple. If a VIP is coming, you have to clean it. If it is a place of worship, how much cleanliness would be there? And now you go to religious side, hardly any cleanliness. Tutti putti road, there is no facility for toilet, etc. So nothing is there. And even if you go there dirty, stinky, कोई पढ़ा लिखा व्यक्ति जाएगा तो क्या सोचेगा? अरे how can this be? Not even a basic cleanliness. सब कुछ गंदा पड़ा है. मिठाई की दुकानों के उसमें मक्खियां बिनक रही हैं. All of you have seen it. At some point of time in your life, you've seen this. Or you go to church. Very nice lights, ambience. Also, Western carol music would be playing, soft music. So it attracts. We go to temple, we don't get any book of wisdom. You go there, you will find who will start talking to you about Jesus. I don't remember, I have visited hundreds of times in India and America. I don't remember any time when I didn't met somebody from the church. There would always be. Either church would be all empty, or else what I saw was either it is all empty, the hall is all empty, or else there are few people who are praying, or else there is this black robes पहन के वो pastor घूम रहा है वहाँ पे और मिल गया तो बात करना शुरू कर देगा. We call him father. Interesting, huh? Immediate emotional correct. Father, I was very attracted. I even practiced Christianity myself now for 6 long months. Can I marry a father? And he'll be nice, dressed, karke, and he'll speak in English. You go to Tamil Nadu, you go to Andhra Pradesh, you go to Karnataka, anywhere, they speak in English. बोलेंगे यार यार क्लीन भी है, पढ़े लिखे भी हैं. और उसी समय फ्लैशबैक में हमारे पुजारी आते हैं. You see the comparison. In the flashback, you have our temple pujaris. Our temple, not ISKCON pujari. I'm saying regular pujari. पंडित घूम रहे हैं वहां पर. यार क्या है, cleanliness है, अनपढ़ लोग हैं, क्या है ये? And now this looks sophisticated. And then the rest of the history comes. Well, see how advanced they are. They are the advanced civilization. हम लोग कहाँ हैं? Technology we are weaker, financially weaker. It creates बिना कुछ बोले ही 50% brainwashing आपकी हो चुकी है. Now with this such a favorable environment, to talk about something, person easily buys. I'm talking about those who are little pious and those who are little looking for something. So easily. The individual who was sitting was really looking. I mean, she's talking about salvation. I'm like, yeah, why are you talking about salvation? You just started living your life. You just started into a work life. You should worry about how can I live my life today, enjoy my life today. You're talking about salvation. पता ये हमारे salvation में और Christianity salvation में क्या अंतर है? मैं भी हैरान हो गया. मैं salvation क्या? आप में से कितनों ने आज तक मुझे salvation के बारे में पूछा है? Any of you ever? Salvation means moksha, liberation. Have you ever asked me about liberation? Have you ever thought about liberation? कि मेरा liberation का क्या होगा? And then we're talking about salvation. मैं कहा wait a second, why so hurry? अभी तो तुम जीना सीखो. And then I realized, so easily. And they have few subject matter to discuss. There's nothing. Salvation is one of the big subject matter, which tells them they are the one who gonna go back to God. The rest are nothing. So I'm like, yeah, interesting. We have to do so much. We have to do so much. And of course, I was thinking at the back of my mind, thank God we have some favorable government. They have improved the shape of what is that? Corridors बनाए हैं ना? कहाँ बनाए हैं? उज्जैन में? वाराणसी. अब you go to devotees who went to Varanasi, you go now, you feel like there is something. Otherwise, ISKCON के अलावा तो I don't think so you would have gone and seen somewhere. Builder temples, and करके ISKCON के temples, there could be some temples, which have been privately maintained. जैसे नाथद्वारा. These are privately maintained. They are trustees. Otherwise, which all are under state. सब में बुरी हालत. And those who are ancient temples, they have been mentioned because वो श्री संप्रदाय के अंदर रहे. If you look at it, okay, nothing. You go to Lingaraj, क्या बुरी हालत है भुवनेश्वर का. You go to अनंत पद्मनाभ स्वामी nearby, क्या बुरी हालत. Dilapidated. Okay. Anyways, continue.
Such violators of religious principles have no respect for the authoritative acharyas, the holy teachers in the strict disciplic succession. They ignore the Vedic injection Acharya Upasana. One must worship the Acharya. And Krishna's statement in the Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Evam Parampara Praptam. This supreme science of God is received through the disciplic succession. Instead, to mislead the people in general, they themselves become so-called acharyas, but they do not even follow the principles of acharyas. These rogues are the most dangerous elements in the human society. Because there is no religious government, they escape punishment by the law of the state. They cannot, however, escape the law of the Supreme, who has clearly declared in the Bhagavad Gita that envious demons in the grab of religious propagandists shall be thrown into the darkest region of hell. Bhagavad Gita 16.19 to 20. Sri Isopanishad confirms that these pseudo-religionists are heading towards the most obnoxious place in the universe after the completion of their spiritual master business, which they conduct simply for sense gratification.
Which is simply for the matter of sense gratification. People are fooled generally. Text number 13. Anya devahu sambhava Anyadaho rasambhava Iti shushrumadhiranam Yenastat vichachakshire Anyad eva ahu. Ahu matlab kaha gaya hai. Eva means certainly. Anya means other. Sambhavad. Anyadahu asambhavad. So different results are obtained by worship of Sambhuti and Asambhuti. कैसे पता है? इति शुश्रूमा धीरा नाम. ये न सत विचक्षरे. हमने धीर व्यक्ति से सुना है. मुझे अभी दूसरा पॉइंट मिल गया अगली बार डिबेट करने के लिए. बताओ धीरा, तुम्हारे पेस्टर हैं, उनके पास ये 6 गुण हैं. वाचो वेगम, मनसा क्रोधा वेगम, जिह्वा वेगम, उदार अष्ट वेगम. I'm gonna meet them every Saturday now. Okay, मैं कहा बताओ उदार, कुछ भी छोड़ दो, जिह्वा उदार पे कोई कंट्रोल है? बाइबल सेड, जीसस सेड, thou shall not kill. जानवर को मार के खा. So जिह्वा and udar, no control. So how can you? Dhirana. Audio you can, but we cannot do video recording. Audio you can. Fine. मैंने भी ठान ली है, छोड़ूंगा नहीं. Hopefully let's see. ठीक है. Anyat, different. It's the same thing. I don't think we need to read word to word. We have discussed this before. Let's read the translation. It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all cause, another is obtained by worshipping what is not supreme. All this was heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. Puppet. All right, Anshul, go ahead. Start reading.
The system of hearing from undisturbed authorities is approved in this mantra. Unless one hears from a bona fide acharya who is never disturbed by the changes of material world, one cannot have the real key to transcendental knowledge. The bona fide spiritual master who has also heard the Shruti mantras or Vedic knowledge from his undisturbed acharya never presents anything that is not mentioned in the Vedic literature. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.25, it is clearly said that those who worship the Pitras or forefathers attain the planets of the forefathers, that the gross materialists who make plans to remain here stay in this world, and that the devotees of the Lord who worships none but Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes, reach him in his spiritual sky. Here also in Sri Isopanishad, it is verified that one achieves different results by different modes of worship. If we worship the Supreme Lord, we will certainly reach him in his eternal abode. And if we worship demigods like the sun god or moon god, we can reach their respective planets without a doubt. And if we wish to remain on this rest planet with our planning commissions, and our stopgap political adjustment, we can certainly do that also.
Hare Krishna. So bona fide and non-bona fide practices will be discussed now in the next paragraph onwards. Anyone else would like to read? Anyone on online audience? Hare Krishna. Okay. Patani online audience little shy today. We can have a local audience. Continue. Start reading.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Somebody said yes, Madanjana. Go ahead.
Nowhere in authentic scriptures it is said that one will ultimately reach the same goal by doing anything or worshipping anyone. Such foolish theories are offered by self-made spiritual masters who have no connection with parampara, the bona fide system of disciplic succession. The bona fide spiritual master cannot say that all paths lead to the same goal and that anyone can attain this goal by his own mode of worship of the demigods or of the supreme or whatever. Any common man can very easily understand that a person can reach his destination only when he has purchased a ticket for that destination. A person who has purchased a ticket for Calcutta can reach Calcutta but not Bombay. But the so-called spiritual masters say that any and all paths will take one to the supreme goal. Such mundane and compromising offers attract many foolish creatures who become puffed up with their manufactured methods of spiritual realization. The Vedic instructions, however, do not uphold them. Unless one has received knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master who is in the recognized line of disciplic succession, one cannot have the real thing as it is. Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 4.2.
Evam parampara praptam. You can see, read that. Go ahead, mother.
Okay. Evam parampara praptim imam rajasyo viduha sa kalenaha mahata yoge nashta parantapa.
This is
Yogo
Imam, huh?
nashta parantapa.
Not Imam. Just FYI, huh? Imam, not Imam. तो लग रहा है
Imam.
आप कुरान पढ़ रहे हो ना फिर. Okay.
This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science, as it appears, to be lost. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
All right, we can have somebody else read now.
Okay.
All right, Niranjan Sakha Prabhu, पढ़िए.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
When the Lord Sri Krishna was present on this earth, the Bhakti Yoga principles defined in Bhagavad Gita had become distorted. Therefore, the Lord had to re-establish the disciplic system, beginning with Arjuna, who was the most confidential friend and the devotee of the Lord. The Lord clearly told Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita 4.3, that it was because Arjuna was his devotee and the friend that he could understand the principles of Bhagavad Gita. In other words, only Lord's devotee and friend can understand the Gita. This also means that only one who follows the path of Arjuna can understand the Bhagavad Gita.
All right, continue.
At the present moment, there are many interpreters and translators of this sublime dialogue who care nothing for the Lord Krishna or Arjuna. Such interpreters explain the verses of Bhagavad Gita in their own way and postulate all sorts of rubbish in the name of Gita. Such interpreters believe neither in Sri Krishna nor in his eternal abode. How then can they explain the Bhagavad Gita?
Continue.
Krishna clearly says that only those who have lost their sense of worship, the demigods, fall paltry
Who have
worship.
lost their sense, worship the demigods of paltry words. Sense worship is not together, a separate thing. So yeah, go ahead.
Ultimately, he advises that one give up all other ways and modes of worship and fully surrender unto him alone. Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Only those who are cleansed of all sinful reactions can have such unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. Others will continue hovering over on the material platform with their paltry ways of worship and thus will be misled from the real path under the false impression that all paths lead to the same goal.
Continue.
In this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad, the word Sambhavat by worship of the Supreme Cause is very significant. Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and everything that exists has emanated from him. In the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, the Lord says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam parvrate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhav samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Thank you. So this was about Prabhupada talking about how Bhagavad Gita should be approached, why there have been so many Bhagavad Gita commentaries. Because of sinful life, people have lost their intelligence and therefore they don't understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This was a discussion so far. Let's continue. Yagya, you want to read further? I'm not going much in explanation on this because the concept of Sambhuti, we have explained that. That's a major thing. Rest all of you can understand it simply. If in case anyone has any question they want to ask, we can take that. Mother Yagya, continue.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
There is a correct description of the Supreme Lord given by the Lord himself. The words Sarvasya Prabhava indicate that Krishna is the creator of everyone, including Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And because
just 1 second. So what's happening now after making this distinction or difference between Sambhuti and Asambhuti? Now Prabhupada, now here in this purport, for the first time, he explains the concept of Sambhuti. So Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So now Prabhupada says how Bhagavan has a personal form. But this was not indicating to the worship of the personal form. So now Prabhupada will quote various references from the scriptures which indicates the Lord has a personal form. So the discussion will go references after references on that. All right, Mother, continue.
And because these three principal deities of the material world are created by the Lord is the creator of all that exists in the material and spiritual worlds. In the Atharva Veda, Gopal Tapni Upanishad 1.24, it is similarly said, He who existed before the creation of Brahma and who enlightened Brahma with Vedic knowledge is Lord Sri Krishna. Similarly, the Narayan Upanishad states, Then the Supreme Person Narayan decided to create all living beings. Thus from Narayan, Brahma was born. Narayan created all the Prajapatis. Narayan created Indra. Narayan created the 8 Vasus. Narayan created the 11 Rudras. Narayan created the 12 Adityas. Since Narayan is a plenary manifestation of Lord Krishna, Narayan and Krishna are one and the same. The Narayan Upanishad also states Devaki's son Krishna is the Supreme Lord. The identity of Narayan with the Supreme Cause has also been accepted and confirmed by Sripad Shankaracharya, even though Shankar does not belong to the Vaishnav or personalist cult. The Atharva Veda, Maha Upanishad 1, also states only Narayan existed in the beginning, when neither Brahma nor Shiva nor fire, nor water, nor stars, nor sun, nor moon existed. The Lord does not remain alone, but creates as he desires. Krishna himself states in the Dharma, I created the Prajapatis and the Rudras. They do not have complete knowledge of me because they are covered by my illusory energy. It is also stated in the Vara Puran, Narayan is the supreme personality of Godhead, and from him the four-headed Brahma was manifested, as well as Rudra, who later became omniscient.
Read the next paragraph also.
Thus, all Vedic literature confirms that Narayan or Krishna is the cause of all causes. In the Brahma Samhita also it is said that Supreme Lord is Sri Krishna, Govinda, the delighter of every living being and the primeval cause of all causes. The really learned persons know this from evidence given by the great sages and the Vedas, and thus they decide to worship Lord Krishna as all in all. Such persons are called Buddha or really learned because they worship only Krishna.
Such a closeness in the word Buddha and Buddhu. Buddha is also refers to as enlightened, therefore. Buddha and Buddhu. Okay. Imam and Imam. Matra ka antar hai, sirf matra ka antar, isn't it? Anyways, so now henceforward in this Prabhupada here concludes with become Buddha. So what is that Buddha? Intelligent person. And who was that intelligent person? Arjuna. So now rest of the purport will talk about become Arjuna. Make a meaningful inquiry, follow the teachings of Krishna, and understand this personality of the personal form of the Lord and engage in the worship. And then Prabhupada will put a contrast to the mental speculators who speculate on the existence of the Lord like that. So that will be the discussion that we can see. I am not there tomorrow. I don't know what will be the schedule for tomorrow. As such, we'll see. The after tomorrow, Wednesday morning, we can do that. ठीक है. वैसे जन्माष्टमी का अवसर था कुछ हमें कृष्ण लीला करनी थी बट विल कंटिन्यू विद दिस सब्जेक्ट मैटर ओनली अदरवाइज हमारा डिस्कशन बीच में अटक जाता है सो हम जो बाहर की दुनिया का जन्माष्टमी का महोत्सव है हम उस दिन ईशोपनिषद पढ़ेंगे क्या अच्छी बात है ना संभूति में संभूति नहीं था ऑलराइट सो एनी कमेंट्स और एनीथिंग एनी रिफ्लेक्शंस yes Prashant Prabhu has something Pranjal Prabhu has something go ahead
Truly on the subject matter of Sambhutin and Asambhutin. So in one of the lecture, Prabhupada says that the greatest problem with the merging in the Brahma Jyoti is also that person gets to know that after this life, he's going to lose his identity for a long, long time. So what he does, he start doing sense gratification to any extent that this life is the only life and let me do the sense gratification to the fullest. And this is also how he is going into the darkness and more dangerous situation.
All right. So that was a comment. Thank you. Noted. Dhananjay Prabhu and then Pranjali.
The question was that we know that Brahmavadi merges into this Brahma Jyoti, but I have a question that after Mayavadi, after their death or passing their life,
Mayavadis and Brahmavadis are technically different. Mayavadis don't even merge in.
So where is their destination? Means
who's Mayavadis? Mayavadis, they're put into hellish conditions. They don't go Brahman.
So only Brahmavadi.
Brahma. What happens? Brahmavadis are impersonalists. Mayavadis are not impersonalists. But because in today's day and time, we don't have that categories of people. It's all hodgepodge. So the words are sometimes used. There is a clear technical difference. Prabhupada is punching or criticizing Mayavadis, not Brahmavadis. All right. Here, this particular verse is talking about. This verse is talking about. आपका क्या कहता है? You can consider Mayavadi, but this verse is talking about Brahmavadi. It's about merging. Okay. Mayavadi पे तो चर्चा भी नहीं करी है. कितने गैर गुजरे हैं. Now, why Mayavadi? Because they say Lord does not exist only. It's Maya. Lord is not there only. You know, they have this idea that when Lord appears here, they don't accept Krishna to be Lord. They don't Rama to be Lord. They don't accept anyone to be Lord like that. God knows. Interesting, na Mayavadi. When everything is illusion, so how can we understand the illusory philosophy also? समझ नहीं आता क्या बोलते हैं लोग. Very bewildering thing. So it is Brahmavadis who enter into Brahman.
In some lectures I heard that The Mayavadi or impersonalist, I don't know. I just wanted to confirm.
It's a very commonly used, and unless you know the technical, when Prabhupada even writes, you'll get confused. Okay, so because sometimes that is used in English impersonalist. So at places Prabhupada have used impersonalist from Mayavadi also. That becomes a little confusing. That way.
So I heard that in Brahma Jyoti, like after sometimes whosoever is there get frustrated because there is nothing.
No.
They again fall down into
No.
material world and become social workers. So
No. That is not about impersonalist.
So that is Mayavadi.
हाँ, वो मायावती तो पहुंचा नहीं तो गिरेगा कहाँ से? वो तो गिरा ही हुआ है.
Who becomes social worker like?
The social workers are those who have gone to the Himalayas, those who have gone to perform tapasya, etc. Then, after their level of realization, then they see everyone is one. Now, because they're all sitting in the cave all alone, they get bored. Then they think, okay, let me do some good work for the society, for the purpose of raising their consciousness. So rather than doing things directly for raising the consciousness, they start from taking care of the body. Then they come down and they open hospitals. There's no question of frustration beyond this world. So material world is negative axis, Brahman is zero axis, and spiritual life is positive axis. In zero axis, how can you have frustration? No, it doesn't exist there. All right. So only thing is Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It just so happened because it is against your nature. You might get bored. And you would get bored because your nature is not to be Shanti Shanti. Your nature is for Ananda. So the hankerings doesn't stop. You're still looking for something which is not getting there. Okay. But the point is, it is said, Yad Gatvana Nivartanti, once you go. So therefore it is said to be. Therefore this verse is saying it's put into much more darkness. This is spiritual society because once you go there, you lose your identity.
They never come back in life.
Mostly. If we don't have assets, could be Prabhupada said, Prabhupada said from there they can make advancement and there are chances that they can come back also. Come back into this world also. Because they are still looking for something, Ananda. And if they don't find, because if they can come here, and if they get some association, they can move forward. These are statements. What it is, we don't know about. Okay?
Sometimes it seems contradictory, like they come back also, and Prabhupada is also saying that it's spiritual society, because society is one, God is one.
That is what you're looking at. Society is one, God is God. So anyways, so this is something, it's not defined by the laws of this world, na? Because you're entering to a place which is beyond the laws of this world. So you can't put society means mar gaya to mar gaya. Kaise jeevit ho sakta hai? So there are all possibilities. Everything is possible. We cannot, but at least you understand the person have lost his spiritual identity. What will happen now? We don't know. It's beyond anyone's jurisdiction. हमें इस दुनिया का नहीं पता, उसका क्या पता? At least we can say we know there are laws here, so we can make a fair enough guess. A law of karma will act, law of incarnation will act. There are no laws there. It's a world of freedom. Now, what happens there is entirely between him and the Lord. How it goes on. So assumptions can be made. He may make progress further if he gets some sangha. But the point is, which Vaishnava are going to go on Om Shanti Shanti land? वहां पे क्या प्रचार करोगे जाके तुम Om Shanti Shanti land में? So God knows how you find a devotee there. And that person thinking that यार कुछ missing है, फिर वो खिड़की से बाहर के देखने लगे, दुनिया में कितना enjoyment है. मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँ इस्कॉन के ब्रह्मचारी आश्रम में, देखो बाहर लोग कितने खुश हैं. So I don't know if that could happen. That could happen. Okay. Fine. All right. Next. हाँ बोलो क्या है?
I was just wondering if you can give some comment. So Mayavadi's favorite scripture is Upanishads, and if some Mayavadi is commenting, so he will write.
I have no idea Mayavadi's favorite scripture is Upanishads. I have no idea Mayavadi's favorite scripture is Upanishads.
They believe Shrutis only, no? They don't believe in Smritis. They believe Vedantists. They believe
they only believe everything is illusion.
Yeah.
That is only I understand about them.
Yes.
So, anyways, go ahead. Your point.
So I guess.
So you're saying this is you're inferring. This is your understanding.
Vedantists, they read Upanishad, Vedas.
So you say, as per my understanding, Mayavadis like क्या कहते हैं Upanishad.
They have Vedantists, na? They read Vedanta Sutra, Vedanta.
Vedantists are not Mayavadis.
But Mayavadis especially read Vedanta only.
No, again, not like that. That's correct. This is your inference. When you're putting your inference, don't put it with such a confidence. That's a Shastra Praman. If you're reading Prabhupada line, then you say confidently. I mean, God knows what they do. They read Bhagavad Gita also. They write commentary, they speak on Mahabharata also. अपना कौन है वो गुरु जी कहाँ बैठे हुए हैं वो जो बहुत बड़ा आश्रम है तमिलनाडु में उन्होंने महाभारत पे कितने लेक्चर्स दिए so how can you say like this so not like that I don't know, at least frankly speaking, with my level of knowledge as this person, I don't know what is their favorite book. Do they have any favorite book? When they consider everything as illusion, what?
We have heard from
one fellow says, I have not read Vedas only. And this fellow knows everything. And is a current day biggest Mayavadi. Yes. So when he says I have not read Vedas only, so क्या तेरा favorite book भी Vedas?
Degradation हो रहा है मायावादी से तो क्या कर सकते?
हाँ, so when you're putting your point, you say I think like this.
But we have it in the classes that Mayavadis, they believe in Shrutis only. Shankaracharya Sampradaya, they don't believe in Smritis.
It's actually it's not it's not about Mayavadis. It's about impersonalists. You're not. So if speaker has said Mayavadi, he said wrong. The right word is impersonalist. For impersonalists, they only count on Shruti, not Smriti, impersonalists. So traditionally, the debate have been between impersonalists and Vaishnavas. Mayavada to yeah Kaliyuga product hai. Which Mayavadi story do you ever read in any history? Think about any Mayavadi you can think of from the history. Sukdev Goswami was born Mayavadi, impersonalist.
He was a Brahmavadi.
So Sukdev Goswami was born as Mayavadi or impersonalist?
Impersonalist.
Think about anyone. A Kaliyuga product hai ye. Where there is an example of Mayavadi. There could be some Mayavadis, but they're not even mentioned in any history. Okay. So when you're reading our thing, this is a debate and confusion is between Brahmavadis and Brahmavadis are Vedantas and Vaishnavas. And it's just obvious, na? Because there are 3 levels of realization. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. जो ब्रह्मन रियलाइजेशन को एब्सोल्यूट मानता है वो ऑफ कोर्स डिबेट करेगा जो एब्सोल्यूट फॉर्म को पर्सनल फॉर्म को सर्वश्रेष्ठ मानता है दिस डिबेट मेक्स सेंस वो जो सबको ही नकारता है उसका डिबेट का तो कोई मतलब ही नहीं बना ना कौन से वेदांत शास्त्र में लिखा है जो भी उनका मायावादी का जो भी ज्ञान है उनका ज्ञान तो कहीं है ही नहीं
तो जैसे वो महाप्रभु कह रहे थे कि तुम सेंटिमेंटलिस्ट हो जब बनारस जाते हैं प्रकाशानंद सरस्वती कि तुम वेदांत क्यों नहीं पढ़ते हो
आर दे रेफर मायावादीज
दे आर मायावादीज
शंकराचार्य के वो जो समय वहां मायावादी लिखा है
यस यस
हां अगेन दिस इज कलियुगा ना दिस इज हैपनिंग इन कलियुगा
मैं तो कलियुग के हिसाब से कह रहा हूं
हां शास्त्र में कहीं ऐसा नहीं लिखा शास्त्र में the word is written impersonal now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago when he's speaking of the audience he's speaking of the audience there mayavadi shunya hoy sarvanash which is correct. Now these category of people have started writing their commentaries on our Vedantas like that. And they're speaking about Krishna also, speaking on Mahabharata also like that. Anyways, let's come to the question of what I'm saying scripturally, if there is any Shruti Smriti Shastra which talks about impersonalist, not Mayavadi, that refers to Brahmavadi. Here this doesn't talk about Mayavadi. This was talk about impersonalist, Brahmanvadi. You getting it? Go ahead now.
प्रभु जी अगर वो इस वर्स में कमेंट्री देंगे तो वो कहेंगे जो डीटी वर्शिप करते हैं समथिंग लाइक दैट दे गो टू हेल देन दे आर मोर डीपर डार्कनेस में जाएंगे इफ दे आर इंटरप्रेटिंग दिस वर्स आई एम जस्ट वंडरिंग तो वो इसको ऐसे इंटरप्रेट करेंगे वर्स नंबर 12
अब करते होंगे तो मतलब क्या हुआ मुझे समझ नहीं आया आई मीन आई कैन जस्टिफाई आवर स्टैंड पॉइंट फॉर देम You want me to justify their standpoint for us?
I'm just wondering क्योंकि इसमें मतलब you have to play with the words तो वो अब सब कमेंट्री से वर्स पे लिख ही रहे वो कैसे करते होंगे या तो ये मतलब जैसे कुछ चीजें क्लियर है भगवद गीता में साफ लिखा हुआ है कि personalist worship is easy than impersonalist
it is such a dangerous psychology that I didn't enter into their psychology. I don't bother because there's the risk of I may getting corrupted. So you ask me about psychology of everyone, but not into that. I have not much ventured into their thing. A few things I have read, which largely our acharyas have quoted in their commentaries. Particularly Baldev Vidyabhushan would write explicitly about them. Okay, Madhusudan Vachaspati was a famous Mayavadi of that time. So they quote often in their commentary. देखो मधुसूदन ने ऐसा लिखा है, मदन सुंदर नहीं कह रहा मैं, हाँ गला खराब है तो मेरा नाम नहीं, मधुसूदन वचस्पति, सुनाई दे रहा है? मैं मदन सुंदर दास नहीं कह रहा हूँ। गला खराब होने के कारण पता लगा कि दोनों शब्द एक जैसे सुनाई दे, so they quote, so often I quote that only। मुझे नहीं पता है क्या करते हैं बावड़े लोग यार।
प्रभु जी, बट आई गॉट कंफ्यूज, मैं अब तक इनको मायावादी समझ रहा था, अब आपने कहा ये ब्रह्मवादी है, बट ब्रह्मवादी कैन गो टू, हाउ कैन दे गो टू मोर डार्कनेस?
Oh, that's what we whole explain, ये पूरा समझाया ना अभी।
वही तो उनको अब तो मायावादी
कौन
समझ,
समझाएगा
मायावादी से
बताओ,
बात हो रही थी।
कौन समझाएगा? प्रांजल के प्रश्न का जवाब देगा। That was how we began the whole discussion, that's how I explained this point। ये तो स्टार्टिंग में इसलिए एक्सप्लेन करा था मैंने। यस, अभिषेक प्रभु will give a try, anyone from online would like to give a try?
प्रभु जी
हाँ
दे
अबे सो के जाग रहे हो, वो सत्र खत्म हो गया, पूछ रहा है आंसर क्या है, यहाँ क्वेश्चन पे हो गया तो पूछ रहा है क्वेश्चन क्या है, क्या चल रहा है तुम लोग का? प्रांजल प्रभु का क्वेश्चन है, हाउ डज ब्रह्मवादी पुट इनटू ग्रेटर डार्कनेस? हाउ ब्रह्मवादी पुट इनटू, यस बताइए।
एक ही लाइन में बताता हूँ जी थोड़ा। वो स्पिरिचुअल सुसाइड करते हैं, आई मीन दे मर्ज इनटू द ब्राह्मण, देन इट्स काइंड ऑफ स्पिरिचुअल सुसाइड।
That's what he said. As a spiritual suicide, you're losing your identity. That's the reason they put on great darkness. And that's the time he was making a point. At least if you're worshipping a Sambhutin because it's temporary, you still move around this world. One day you'll realize. But when you're merged into that, what? That's the reason. All right. So this is a very highly technical subject. When Prabhupada will give purpose, Prabhupada goes in free flow. He'll bring the Mayavadi concept also. Like this. But technically what is being discussed here is this. Mayavadi का scripture में है ही नहीं reference क्या करके। मैं यार जिसने तुमको माया कह दिया सब झूठा है। भाई सब बंद कर लो, किसका बज रहा है अंदर? तो बैठो बंद करके आओ ना, जब फाइन। तो उसका वैसा नहीं है, दिस इज अ कलयुग का प्रोडक्ट। Why would Upanishad talk about Mayavadi, which is beyond Kali Yuga? ठीक है, हरे कृष्णा।